Halo Infinite has been out for a few months now, and initially the response to the free multiplayer was extremely positive. So much so that EA blamed Halo for Battlefield 2042's failure, and then quickly denounced that was an actual comparison that was made. However, more recently, Halo Infinite players have been getting frustrated with the lack of updates. So far, the only updates have been these Tenrai events that were just Fiesta playlists with challenges specific to Fiesta. I get you want to have challenges specific to your rotating events, but I feel like locking them to a specific playlist, and by extension locking the event to a specific playlist, is a little detrimental to the event's success. This may not be the case for everyone, but that was definitely the case for me, since I'm not a huge fan of Fiesta, so I just don't bother when the Tenrai event comes back around. So what else has gotten the Halo community so upset? The lack of new content seems to be the main talking point in this case. No new maps, no new game modes. It even took a while for 343 to add in a Slayer playlist, a staple in Halo multiplayer. A recent update introduced variants of SWAT, now known as Tactical Slayer or Tactical Ops, I've seen both used, which is cool in its own right. I do love me some SWAT, but then again, kind of reiterating my first point, not everyone does. So you'll have a chunk of players not even engaging with that playlist or game mode. Speaking of game modes, it seems like a lot of objective game modes are getting criticized by the community as well. For some players, they're getting tired of playing the same modes over and over again, and don't get a chance to play some of the modes that they really want to play. I felt that way when playing Big Team Battle, wanting to keep playing the stockpile mode, but kept getting put into total control matches. I understand 343 may be wanting to keep the player base from fragmenting and having meta playlists or something to that effect, but the core problem here is that the player base is experiencing burnout. They want to play different game modes and stop being forced from playing the ones that are constantly being forced onto them by these playlists. Let me put it this way. When I mentioned the example earlier about the total control matches, that's not some BS example. I got 3 total control matches in a row in Big Team Battle and nothing else. These BTB game modes can last a while, so I wasn't willing to stick around to see if I got anything else, let alone the game mode I actually wanted to play. I didn't want to deal with it anymore, so I closed the game. I didn't go to another playlist, I closed the goddamn game. Why stick around if I didn't want to deal with the game modes I didn't want to play? This is the kind of fatigue the community is feeling right now. There's just not enough content to keep the player base interested, and no amount of limited time events can help you with that if the baseline content isn't being updated. We're even seeing content creators move on from Halo, as there's just nothing new going on. Even Hidden Xperia, who is a huge Halo-centric content creator, is moving on to other things. That's how bad things are right now. Now, there's another layer to this that I do want to mention. Games don't make themselves, and the devs who work on this are people that come into work and do their job, right? They're only human, and we can't expect them to work all hours of the day basically crunching to get this content out. I would very much prefer that they take their time with new content so devs don't burn out. Even with that sentiment, I do feel that time is against 343. As much as I really like Halo, Infinite is in a rough place right now. Sure, it's a fun and competent game in its own right, but if Halo wants to join the live service game, they'll need to start keeping up with everything else. Games like Apex Legends, Warzone, hell, even Fortnite constantly update their games. Granted, they're all battle royale games, but Halo just needs to make sure they can stay on top of their own game. So what's the solution? It's more content. I should think some new maps would be a good place to start. While we do have a good handful of maps, I would imagine by now things are getting pretty samey, so a few new maps would be the best course of action to start things off with, preferably with different aesthetics from the maps we currently have. Maybe even reintroduce some classic maps from previous Halo games like Blood Gulch, Sidewinder, Lockout, Cold Storage, just to name a few. Next, allow players to play specific game modes. Just want to do Slayer? Just Oddball? A mix of the two? Some other combination? Let us do that. Call of Duty has been allowing us to select what quick match game modes we want to play, and I think that's the best way to handle it. Sure, that does risk fragmenting the player base, but do you want those that are here to have fun and do what they want, or be forced to play things they don't want to play and then leave after a game or two? I feel the former is the best course of action, but that's just me. On top of that, introduce some new game modes, or even bring back some fan favorites. I really want to get back into Griffball, and playing that on Infinite would be really cool. Once Forge releases, you can even have a community game mode of the week or something. Something to think about, because we're going to get a lot of user-generated content, and highlighting those creations would be a good idea in the future. On a less urgent note, some new weapons would be nice as well. But I think balancing what we have at the moment would be best. I haven't seen anything overpowered myself, but it's always good to stay on top of that kind of thing. I know the Mangler has been a point of contention amongst players in recent months, but that's a whole other thing. While Halo Infinite is a great game, the current issues begin to bring Halo's longevity into question. Without proper support from the devs, the community will begin to dwindle, and we've already begun to see that. Sure, a lot of dev time might be spent bringing Forge and campaign co-op to the forefront, but after you lose your players, it's tough to get them back. These players need something new to interact with soon, or they'll be gone for good. Halo has come a long way, and I'd hate to see Infinite become the next Battlefield 2042. In the end, it's all up to 343 and how they approach the coming months. Let's just hope it's something the Halo community can get behind and sink their teeth into, because if it's not, the community might not last, and I'd hate to see Halo Infinite fizzle out. And that's about all I had for this one. Are you one of the players fed up with the current state of Halo? If so, let me know how you're feeling about the game in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video, as that always helps. Any and all links can be found in the description down below, along with my social media, including my Twitter and Twitch. With that being said, stay hydrated, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you next time.